afternoon, everyone. It's Robie 1. I'm out here in Sturbridge, Mass. And I'm going to do my speculatory analysis of the Masonic architecture and some of the early history in Sturbridge and Southbridge, Mass. Here's the memorial for the soldiers. We'll thank them first off. Right here, the Town Hall, 308. Now this was built in 1838, and anything to me that was before the 1860s, because in 1865 the Kodak camera was produced. I don't know if there was other ones before that. There's no pictures traditionally of any of these buildings, but this one I believe is a newer world one as opposed to before the 1830s, because these pillars look like they're made out of wood. And if you've seen the video on Ionic Ave, the Masonic Temple in Worcester with the ritual codes behind it, them pillars were cement, but they were like blocks going up like a big kit. But the old, they call this a Greek revival, but I believe all this architecture points to Babylon. Nothing Rome, Babylon, Greek, Babylon. And if you look close at them pillars up there at the top, let's see if we can close in on it. Let's get the dragon egg and dragon tails. And I've been looking at a lot of these pillars, and you're gonna realize that a lot of them are very different, even though they look the same from the distance. So that was 1838. The church, 1922, which is all wood, but it has pillars on it. We're just gonna go through this quick, and then I wanna go over to the graveyard. And up there, these pillars have what I call the Leviathan leaves with the snake heads, and that's see them going around there? There's like several heads. They look like cobra heads. That's my nickname for those leaves. Nice structures. Sturbridge is well kept. The library with the Babylonian look, with the dome, it's copper with pillars up top. The keys like Solomon's Temple, above the supposed windows. The Widow's Walk right there on the window. Let's get this royalty symbol in there. Pillars. This is where it all started with me. I go to this library a lot. Is the obelisk or the oblique erected by the town, and it has early soldiers' names on it, facing south, because right forward looking down there, that's south. You keep going that way, that's where Connecticut is. Dedicated 1871 Civil War Memorial, rededicated 2002. Blood. There's a blood cemetery. We've all looked at that. Now I'm gonna, this one's gotta be at least 16 feet or more. Find my way over here to the graveyard. There's a busted oblique. We got some denizens. And I even got the history book with me. Southbridge. You can read a quick article in there on this. It's considered the old burial ground, established 1740. The gifts, the gates of gift, 1920 from Joseph Fisk. Let's get those old cool iron gates. Alright, I'm going to set right in. There's some of those Mesoamerican style faces in here too. Right off a mound, which always interested me. It's like a crypt mound. But here you go. Some of those strange, some people call them the Seraphim Angels. I've heard that. 1786. Another one. But this is an area that supposedly James Denison resided in, and Denison Crossroads is probably a mile or two away from here. And that's, I think, his area also. This David White, Susanna, and Catherine. Things well preserved. It's cool how there's like one rock there, like a keystone, almost looks like a snake head. Look for a moment. There's another angel. There's actually death's head skulls over here. Jeannie Dudley. See, that looks like a black person to me. And I don't think it's a mockery. I think it's just they revere the people that they're not talking about in the history books. Denison is over here though, somewhere. I don't know if it's James Denison, but that's the Denison they speak of that's over near my house in Southbridge. Get some more of these cherubim. Yep, here he is, James Denison. Alright, so let's bust out the history book and read the article on it also. Right here. Let's get into this. Right here. And this is how I talk about that it wasn't the commoners who came here and got it, it was the elitists. The story of how Southbridge came is fascinating. In 1683, the founders of the town of Oxford were awarded a King's Land grant from the Crown. When Massachusetts General Court granted the request, an association of proprietors was formed. One of these was James Denison of Medfield, Massachusetts. In July 1730, the properties held a drawing and to award the lots. Young and intrepid, Denison set out on the western frontier. He arrived in the lowly wilderness of the fall of the year and found the rock and the shelter of his lots and settled on that slope just south of the river. This would become Sturbridge. Alright, so that's that. Let's put that aside. I got these scraped onto, you take a crayon onto tracing paper. $17.80. The oldest structure is the public house over here, 1772. And that's Ebenezer Crafts. George Washington actually ate there, and General Lafayette. Here's more of those angels. My theory is he danced on that dance floor because everyone knows George Washington was a great dancer. Look at this one. I've never noticed that. It's like eyes on a sunset. But over here somewhere is an oblique that was busted. I thought there was. Right there. Is that it? I think this is it. I believe this once was a taller oblique and it busted off. That doesn't look like the way it should have been. Because this usually where you see like mounds and these old graveyard stones and oak trees and big pines like this, because they revere trees. You'll see an oblique. But over here, see if we can find this a real old one. I think it's from the 1600s. I used to work in there, and that building's old. It's got the old post and beam style beams still in there. There's pegs in some of them, and I'm a carpenter, so all my life some could say I'm a master carpenter, even though I don't have a certificate for it. Okay, let's look at this one. It's an interesting one. I'm gonna have to fix the flag. The flag down, flag down. Let's fix it. Flag down. Oh yeah, let's put her right back where she belongs. Well, put it in, get in. Put the proper effort into it. That stinks. It's better. Alright. George Upham. An interesting oblique. It looks like a witch's hat. This is the original one too. Well, this has never been done over. 1822. This building they just built. And supposedly I heard they found Indian artifacts. I never taken it out. What I heard in the construction worker. Here we go. Here's one of the older ones. 1795. With the Mesoamerican thing, face, and then there's some kind of symbol that's above it. I don't know what that means. You know, we've seen a lot of them. Anyone who's followed my channel. It's a good sized graveyard, but I was thinking about it the other day. There's no other graveyards in Sturbridge. I haven't looked it up. The Yearns, but you know my opinion on that. I've been wanting to get back to Warren. We're gonna have to digress to that. I could have sworn I seen one here that's interesting, from the 1600s. I haven't been over here in a while. But just because these are look like commoner stones doesn't mean they are. These were the original masons, I believe. Plimpton, which was the first street in Southbridge, and at one point Southbridge bordered Oxford. So Denison is like the name of the founding area, and you know, obviously the crown and the king granted these people the land, so right there's, in my opinion, proves it wasn't commoners, it was elitists, and they were hand-elected people. I don't like how the Masons use the white common man today as a scapegoat, and that's what truly led me on this mission of history. But now that I've gone into history, I'm not going to stop. It's really interesting, and you know, we're out here in Sturbridge, Mass. There's a hotel over there. I hope everyone has a nice day and a happy Thanksgiving, and there'll be more videos to come because there's a mud flood theory in Sturbridge, Mass. These buildings over here that I showed you, the town hall, the church, and the library, I don't believe are mud floods. I think they're simulations. This one looks like it could be a mud flood, and I don't know if that's an original town hall. I guess it was a school. See the windows at the bottom? That's a mud flood. Let's look at that. Yeah. Oh yeah, they got vents in the windows. Everyone have a nice day. Robie 1. I'm out.